Good evening, Divine Chisom. Good evening. Please, if you can hear me, let me know, please. Good evening. Good evening, Prince David. If you can hear me, please let me know. Good evening. If you can hear me, please let me know. All right. All right. So, good evening once again, and hope your weekend is going fine. Hope you are doing great. And lastly, hope the last class we had on Wednesday, you've actually gone through them, practice, and you can actually boost of yourself that you now understand market structure. Let me know in the comment section, do we now understand market structure? Can we boost if I'm to say, okay, hey, Prince David, hey, Clinton, hey, Divine Chisom, Samuel Obi, what is market structure? Can we boost that we now understand what market structure is all about? Yeah, okay, yeah. All right, so today we'll be discussing a very important and very detailed topic, which is what? Valid break of structure and change of character. Sorry about yesterday interruption. I don't actually know what happened with M10 Fiber X. The network yesterday was shitty, and I think my transmitting apps couldn't actually process what was actually happening yesterday properly. Even trying to use my phone network, it was still bad. I had to reach out to my network provider for them to come around today to actually come to put some things in place and actually maybe check their device if something was actually wrong. So yesterday, that's what actually happened, and it's not like it wasn't working, but it was so slow that I think the lagging was very, very obvious. On a normal live stream lags, but yesterday was very, very bad. So that's why I just had to just end it so I don't end up stressing myself too much. All right. So today we'll be looking at what? Valid break of structure and change of character. And not just valid break of structure and change of character. We'll also be looking at for what? The fake or the traps. Because a lot of times, a lot of people get to mark break of structure or market change of character without actually identifying which one is valid and which one is what? It's a trap in the market. Because if I should actually ask you what moves the market, what moves the market is money. Money moves the market, and not just money. The market makers set traps in the market. That's why you have what? Manipulations. Yeah, today's class is clear and better. Yeah. Yeah, everything has actually been fixed, just like what I promised. A lot of money went down trying to fix things, but it's okay. That's what we do. So we'll be starting with market break of structure. Market break of structure, not just change of character. Both of them are very, very important. So we will start with market break of structure. And when you're talking about market break of structure, you're talking about what? Market in a what? Continuous direction. Market in a continuous direction. Now, change of character simply means what? Market changing what? The direction, the initial direction. So let's get to use a diagram to actually what? Explain this. So let's have this in a bullish market first. So we have this, and what? Market coming to take out this high is what we'll call what? A break of structure. Now, one thing you have to note in this break of structure is what? The market shouldn't take out this low. For you to have a continuous break of structure, the market shouldn't take out this low. So the market pulls back down to this zone, to the other block, or to the zone that initiated what? This break. Then you have what? A break above. Having this break above, you want to see the market pull back down, but it shouldn't get to break this point. Then what? It continues to the upside, and that is what you mean by what? Break of structure. So each time the market actually takes out a previous high, what you have there invariably is what? A break of structure. You have another one. This is what? A break of structure. Another one. This is what? A break of structure. This also applies to what? A bearish market. So let's get to look at a bearish market before someone will say, is the bullish market I know how to draw. All right, so this is the bullish bearish scenario. You can't see the illustration. If you can't see the illustration, then I think it should be from your network, because from my section it's showing that everything is excellent, and my don't worry, please, let's not bring in other block. The topics are what? For these, just like the last class was what? Market structure, and we also looked at what? Bullish, bearish, consolidating. Then we also looked at what? External and internal structure. I actually dropped a video today. I will share the video link. I personally made that video for you guys on internal and external structure. So I will drop it on the group later, so that for those that actually does not understand what I will discuss about the external and internal structure, that video is more detailed, just like what I promised. So the video is already out on the channel. So for the other block, we are going to discuss other block. The topics are what? Step by step, because this is what? Beginner to advance. So we have to make sure that what? We take it in a gradual process. So now we have this. The market pulls back down at this point. After pulling back down, we have another pullback up again to the upside, and what? It pulls back down. So this continuous break to the downside is what you consider as what? Your break of structure. That is what you consider as your break of structure. So the next thing we'll be looking at is what? What is change of character? What is this change of character? Because I believe we should be able to understand what I mean by what? Break of structure at this point. This, they're all what? Your break of structure. So having this high, taking out this low, having this high, taking out this low is your break of structure. Then look at this one. Having this high and you have this low comes to break above this point, giving you what? More confirmation that what? We are in a buying market. That is why I actually had to discuss structure before this topic. That is why I discussed structure before this topic. Now, if you look at, this is a bullish structure, and this is what? A bearish structure. I believe you are following. This is a bullish structure and this is a bearish structure. Now, how do we get to actually what? Know when we have a change of character? Because for us to have a change of character, I said a change of character is when what? You are having what? A bullish or a buying market, and the market comes to what? Alternate what you are having. Then what? In that scenario, what you now have is what? A change of character. So let's look at, for this particular example we have here in this buying market, if this price should come out to what? Come back to take this low at this point, what you have at that point is what? A change of character. I don't know if it makes sense to you. If this price comes back to take this low, what you now have is what? A change of character. So let me get to put a simple diagram before we look at a complex one. So this is this. And price comes to what? Take out, because in a bullish market, you want to see price keep respecting this zone that actually caused this break of structure. So now price comes to violate this point. Immediately you have this violation. You label it what? Your change of character. So when you have this violation, what you want to see now, this tells you that what? The market is no longer what? Bullish. The market is what? Bearish. Copied. Now, this price is expected to pull back to this point that the zone that actually caused this change of character, and then it will now come down. When it comes down to this point, the first break is what? Break of structure. After you have this change of character, the next thing, each time you have a successful what? Break to the downside, what you'll be having is what? A what? Break of structure. So let's get to label all of this one, so we'll get to actually what? Understand this properly. All right. So this is our change of character. After having a change of character, we have what? Our break of structure at this point. So this is our break of structure. The next one again is what? Our break of structure right here. Alright, so here to the left hand side, this is what you have, your break of structure. Is your break of structure. So the first time the market changes its direction, what you have is what? Change of character. Then the continuation in that direction again, it will be your break of structure. I don't know. Is there anything you're having issues with? Let me get to do a recap before we get to go to the chart from this diagram. Is there anything you're having issues with? Let me know before I what? Continue with the main live chat. Alright, so I think Favor say everything is okay. Is there another person that is having issue before we continue, or I should proceed? Let me know. Let me know. A recap, sir, please. A recap. Right on. Okay. So Williams Amadi said a recap. Okay. Let's get to. Okay. Good to go. Okay. Just for this, let me just get to make sure everyone is actually full in. Alright, so for Williams and for any other person that's having issue, we have this. We said when the market is in a continuous trend, what you have is what? Break of structure. Break of structure. So in a continuous trend, just like what we have here for the bullish market, you want to be seeing what? Higher highs, and what? Higher lows. You can see this low is higher than this one is higher than this one, and this high is higher than this high is higher than this high. So this is what? A break of structure at this point, break of structure at this point. Now, for you to have a market change of character, the price will have to break below this. The price will have to break below this. And when price breaks below this, that gives you what? Market change of character. This is a market change of character. So after breaking this, you want to see price pull back up, then price will continue to the downside. When it pulls back down, this is what you have, market break of structure. So Williams, I believe you now understand what we mean by change of character and market break of structure. So we'll go into the live chat to actually what? Look at all of these examples. Now, I want to actually set something straight. First, we'll be looking at what? The fake break of structure or change of character. Now, we don't consider candle close with wick as what? Change of character or break of structure. We actually want to see what? The body closing above or below properly. So now let me Sir, sometimes change of character does not last long. How can you confirm that area can be seen as a change of character? It might be first act like one. Okay, so actually, when we go into the live example, you actually would understand. This question should have actually come after actually taking the examples. And when we've also discussed other block and what taking full trades, that's when you can actually ask this question, because this question is actually coming when you've not actually what taken anything. Okay, so now the first thing we'll be looking at is what traps, because a lot of persons, when they see something like this, okay, now for this particular scenario, this was what the last high you had. Look at this high, and what this was the low. This was our low. Having this high and having this low, at this point, at this low, I believe my chart is clear enough. And please, if you are having issues with the resolution, just the setting icon on your chart, the setting icon on this live stream on your phone, if you click the setting icon, select high picture quality, be higher picture quality, either of them, high picture quality, you will see something like that. So that will put your resolution into what something better and brighter for you, but it will consume more data, but you don't have to strain your eyes. So it's better you do that for what your own health sake. All right, so we have this high and we have what this low. We have this low. So having this high and having this low, what did you see? Look at this point. If you look at this point, will you consider this point a break of structure or change of character? Okay, let's just assume it's a break of structure. Will you consider this point as what? A break of structure? You can't consider this point as a break of structure, because what this is what candle wick. Let me get to expand this better so you actually get to see what I'm actually looking at. So this is it. Look at this chart at this point properly. Look at this candle wick. Let's get to actually see. If you look at this wick, if you look at that point, what did you see? The candle wicked above this high. So will you tell me this is what? A break of structure or a change of character? No. This is not a break of structure, neither is it a change of character, because this is just market sweep of liquidity. This is market sweep of liquidity. And that's why I said we have a fake and what? Valid break of structure. So at this point, if you saw this as maybe market actually breaking, you will now want to look for maybe a buy. And you will now see what? Market dumping and taking you out. I don't know if this actually brings something in your head. If you see this is what? Sweep. Now, how do we identify valid break of structure? You're talking about marking the point behind that or before that, cleansing. Which other high do you have before that? That's the high now. Which other high are you seeing? Let me know. Because that's the high you're supposed to mark. Which other high are you seeing? Are you talking about this one or you're talking about this high? Let me know. Are you talking about this high? Because if you're talking about this high, that's why I actually explained internal structure and external structure. Now, if you're able to mark your external structure, this is your external high and this is your external low. Whatever happens within this point to this point is internal. So at this point, you have internal break of structure, internal break of structure, internal break of structure. For you to have a valid change of character, price should be able to take out this point. So you want to see price give you something like this. So we should be able to have a perfect break above our zone at this point. If you don't have candle body closing above this, then that is not a break or a change of character. So I believe with what I just explained now, you'll be able to actually identify how to identify a fake break of structure or a fake change of character. Now, the next thing we have to look at is what? How to actually identify this valid break of structure or valid change of character. Number one is what? The candle body must close above previous high or previous low. Please take note. For you to actually identify a proper valid break of structure or change of character, the market should be able to actually close with a body. So at this point, what we have here is what? Transfer of what? Liquidity to this high. So when you have transfer of liquidity, this is what you want to see. Here now becomes okay, so this point, this is where you now have what? The break. If you look at this point, this actually close with a body. This actually close with a body. So this actually close with a body. So at this point, we now have what? A change of character. If you actually want to look out for what? More buys or more sells to the upside. But there was no other block to actually validate this buy to the upside for us to actually what? Continue this trend to the upside. Because what? When we come to other block, we actually get to give out the criteria to actually what? Be taking our other blocks. Not because you see what? This change of character, you will now come, draw your demand zone here, you want to see price coming to it, and you tap and you go. That is not how we get to mark our zone. That is not it. Please, just a minute, please. All right, so now when you have this change of character at this point, market has already broken above. You want to look out for more reasons to actually what? Keep buying price to the upside. So here you have this high at this point. What did you see? There was a close, body close, giving you what? A new what? A new low at this point. You have this low at this point before what? Price actually what? Continue to the upside. Now after price continued to the upside, what did you see? Price tapped into this low, giving you what? Another low. That means there was like a sweep at this point. There was like a sweep, which now cause what? A transfer of low. When you have this transfer of low, then you now have this. This low is now transferred to this point. At this point, so at this point, what you now have is what? If price should take out this low, what you now have is what? A change of character. So what you have here is what? A change of character, giving you what? Another low at this point. Another low at this point. So this low you now have here is what? Your break of structure. Let's get to actually mark everything properly so we don't get confused. All right, so here we have a change of character. So at this point, we have a change of character to the upside. So if you actually get to look at where we put our change of character, this one break of structure, our break of structure, and here is what our change of character. So after having this break of structure, this is the new low we now have. So if market should violate this low, we will have a change of character. And after having a change of character, the next thing that follows is what? A break of structure. After having a break of structure, what did you see? Price actually what? Took out this low again. After price took out this low, this is where we now have what? A break of structure. Again, to the downside. So having our break of structure, price kept on what? Breaking to the downside, giving us what? More break of structures to the downside. So you can actually what? See how this is marked. Now for you to have on this chart, this is Euro USD. So for you to have another change of character on this particular pair, you want to see this price breaking what? Above this point. So we want to see this price break above this for us to have a valid change of character. I don't know if I'm communicating. Now, here is our last break of structure. So if price should pull above this point, then this is what? A change of character. That's what you now have. Change of character. So when you have this change of character, we will now be looking out for what? Possible buy from this zone to the upside or any other nearest other block that is valid, and what will continue to the upside. I don't know if this is copied or I should do a recap. Let me know in the comment section. Is this copied? Should I proceed to more examples? Okay, a recap. Okay, let me do a recap. Let me take everything off. Okay, let's get from the start now. We said for us to have a break of structure, this is it. That's the first diagram for a bullish market. For a bearish market, this is what we want to see. This is what we want to see. So now this is for a bearish market and this is for a bullish market. So let's just get to label this I. We'll label this one. So this is what we have. And for this one, we have this and this. These are just the simple setups you have. These are just the simple ones you have. The next one we'll be looking at is a more complex setup. So when you have these simple ones, you now have what? Another simple one. This is for the bearish one, a simple setup. Another what? Simple setup on what? A bullish market. Now let's get to look at a complex setup. What a complex setup looks like, just like the one I use in explaining on the euro. So let's look at this one. We have this, and we have this, this, and price coming back to take out this low. That's why you have your change of character. When price takes out this low is a change of character. Then what? You see, price pulls back to this point, this, and this. So let's get to actually mark this, and I will move this to. Let's just get to mark this. So at this point, we have what? Our break of structure. Now, our break of structure shouldn't violate the previous low. Like the low shouldn't violate this low. So provided this low is higher than this one, and this high is higher than this one, is what? Your break of structure. Then the next thing is what? new high, sorry, new high. And what, you see, this was the last high, price pulls back down, taking out what, this high, so giving you what, a new high at this point. Now, for price to actually what, take out this low, this is where you now have your change of character. Now, what is change of character? Change of character is used to identify what, market reversal, a turning point on the market, when the market is what, turning. So what, at this point, you now have your change of character sitting here, price pulls back down, pulls back up to this origin of that point, and what, taps in and continue to the downside, which will now give you what, a break of structure at this point. Having this break of structure, if price pulls back up, then continue to the downside again, this is what you will now have, another what, break of structure at this point. So let's get to look at the real chart example. We'll do a lot of examples. Just for the bullish market, for the bearish market, whatever market condition. We are going to do that. I'm not taking anything adding to break of structure or change of character this night. It's just this. So because what I know, break of structure or market change of character is actually what, a complex setup that if you don't actually get to understand properly, you get to miss out on a lot of things. So let's look for enough data to actually use to actually check all of these things. I want something that will be easier for you guys. So let's get to, okay, let's work with this. Let's work with what we have here. So at this point, we have this high. We have this high sitting here. So let's assume this is the origin. We don't have anything below this point. So this is the origin. So this high was here. This was the previous high. And what? This was what? Our low. Or this is our low. This is our low sitting here. And you have what? This high at this point. Now, price pulls up and breaks above this high to the upside. Now, price breaking to the upside, this is what, our change of character. This is our change of character at this point. This is our change of character. Yeah. Having this change of character, where is our low? This is our low. And what? This is our what? High. Now you have this high. You have this high. And what? You have this low. Having this high, having this low, and having this high, what you want to see is what? This is what, our internal structure. Whatever happens within this part is the internal structure. I don't want to go into labeling the internal structure. I want us to get the external structure marked properly. So that what? It will actually what? Help you. Because if I start diving into marking all of these smaller structures, it will get to mix a lot of things. So I want us to actually take note of the major structures. Now we have this low and we have this high. Now price comes to break above this. Breaking above this, this is what? Our break of structure. You don't need to worry. That's why the video is being recorded and uploaded back on the channel, so that what? You can always make reference back to it. And as we keep practicing, you will keep understanding what I'm actually explaining. So we now have what? This break of structure. We now have what? A new low at this point and what? A new high at this point. So we will actually want to see what? Price take out this point. Want to see price take out this point? Don't worry about the internal structure. We will come to the internal structure when we master the external structure. So now if price eventually takes out this point, that still tells you that what you are in what a bullish market. So we have this what we have this high and we have this low at this point. So having this high and having this low, what did you see? Price came into what? This zone, giving us what? A change of character at this point. Giving us what? A change of character at this point. So when we have this change of character, we'll have been looking out for what? Us actually taking a sell at this point. Just from what I explained before, we actually want to see, after having a change of character, we want to see price pull back to this zone and price will continue to the downside. So now we have this supply zone, and what did you see? Immediately price gave us a change of character. Price taps into this zone. What did you see? Price started selling to the downside. So let's actually get to see. Now, price pulled back down, but wasn't able to give us a break of structure on the external range. On this external range, price wasn't able to give us what? A break of structure. Price wasn't able to give us a break of structure. So what? Price came back up again, continue what? To the upside. Now, this is for the external markup. As we keep on going, as we keep on practicing, you will get to actually what? Understand these internal structures, all of this, and how we are going to read them properly. Now, if you look at all of the structures I marked, if you look at all of the structures I've been marking, I didn't mark candle wick at any point. So if you have something like, let's say, look at this particular one. If, let's say, for a year, this was what we had just this week. We didn't have these other two candles coming to the downside, closing below. I won't consider it as a break of structure. Note, I won't consider it as a, what I will consider this as is what? Market sweep of liquidity. So I will just come and type it what? Sweep. So that means what? This was a sweep, not a break. So I will not be looking for any reason to actually sell. Instead I'll be looking for, okay, since we have a sweep, that means the buyers are still in control of the market. I don't know if it makes sense to us. Now, if you have issues with this particular markup, with break of structure or change of character, the last class we did, I want you to go and check it out, or the video I'll be tagging on the WhatsApp group, or you can check it on the channel. You will see external and internal structure. The video was dropped today. So you can actually check internal and external structure, so that it actually help you to actually understand the highs and the lows and why we're actually marking that. So this was what our external high and this was our external low. So each time price gets to break above this point, that means what? We are still buying. Whatever happens within this point is internal price movement. I know I'm actually was stating that you should be able to understand your external and internal structure. Because a lot of times you will see something like this. Let me get to mark this for you. Let's say we have this price action before us here. And looking at this price action, what did you see? Let me get to mark this internal price action we are having here. This was the last high at this point. This was the last high, and what? This was the last low within the internal what? Movement. Now, price breaking above this gave us what? A change of character. We have a change of character at this point. And what? This is what we want to see. Price taking out what? This other high. Now, having this other high, what you now have is what? Your break of structure. This is our break of structure. And where is the last low that actually gave us another break of structure at this point? We have this one. After having that one, we have another what? Another break of structure at this point. Within the internal price movement, you can see that what? At this point, you now have what? A change of character, which will now tell you on a smaller time frame you want to look for sell from this point all the way to the downside. That's if you refine this chart to maybe 15 minutes or 30 minutes, maybe this push that pushed up should have actually tapped into a zone. Then you will not think of maybe selling this price all the way to this point. And at this point, you should be able to leave the market. But if we were actually still working with the external structure which was this point already gave us what? A sell at this point where we had what? This was what? Our what? Break of structure to the downside. Or was it change of character or mark there? Okay. Change of character to the downside at this point. We had a change of character which tells us what? We want to look for sell from this point. So from the external has already showed you that what? The market is bearish. And you should always try to always work with the external range. I don't know. I believe we'll be able to actually be able to identify a valid break of structure and a valid change of character, and the fake change of character or fake break of structure. And what was the difference? One closing with candle wick and the other one closing with what? Candle body. Is that okay? If maybe you still want a recap, let me still know in the comments. Maybe we'll use a different pair to actually what? Explain this again, because I actually want everyone on this call, or for those that maybe they didn't join, that will actually want to watch this class over again to actually understand this properly. Because the next class we'll be having by next week, I think we should be going into what? Order block. And what? Setting our trades. So if you know you don't actually understand structure, I want you to go back to watch the first class. Then the video that was also dropped today, I want you to also check it out. And this particular class, check it out. So if you have any question, let me know. And if there's something you don't understand, let's also know in the comments. Then I will proceed to the next pair, where we'll look at another example again. So let me know in the comment section if there is anything. Is there any question, or I should write on? Any question? Or we all understood? Okay. Prince, I should proceed. Should I proceed? Let me know in the comment section. Or I should do a recap. Should I proceed or I should do a recap? Are we sleeping? Or are we confused? We are all good. Okay, so from my end, I can say we are 9 on the call. And 2 people say I should proceed. Okay, the second person say I should proceed. The third person, okay, fourth person say I should proceed. All right, so that means this is copied. All right, so let's get to take another example. I want to use the Bitcoin most recent action to actually what? Explain break of structure and change of character again. All right, so we are on Bitcoin, and we'll be looking at the most recent dump that happened yesterday night. For those that are not aware of what happened yesterday on Bitcoin, so you'll be seeing it today, what actually transpired on Bitcoin. So now, let's work with this. We have a break of structure here, closing with what? A body. closing with a body. Now, after this price pushed up, this price gave us what? A new high. Just like what I explained. We said we want to always see what? A new high given when we have what? A break of structure in a bullish market. Then a new low given when in a bearish market. So now, at this point, we have this. This is another what? Break of structure. After having that break of structure, this is our low. Price push up to this point again, giving us what? Another what? Break of structure at this point. And what? Price gave us what? This low. So from this price action, what can you actually see? At this point, we now have what? A change of character. Because our rule was what? We don't want to see the price violate the low. We don't want to see the price violate the low. And at this point, price has actually what? Violated what? This low. So at this point, we now have a change of character. Having a change of character, where is the new low? This is our new low. And what? Price actually what? Took out this low. Giving us what? A break of structure. After you have a change of character, the next thing you have to see is what? A break of structure. After that, what did you see? We have another what? Break of structure. So the downside. So after this, what did you see? The price dumped to the downside. So price dumping to the downside, what do you want to see? We have this range. Let's get to mark out the external range. So we have this low. We have this low here. If price should take out this low again, then we'll have another what? New break of structure. And if price should take out this high, we'll have what? A change of price. So this is the external range. Now within this external range, we can have what? A substructure, which is what? The internal structure. So within the internal structure, we can have something like this. Let's say we have this low. This is a low. So we want to see something like price taking out this low. Then price comes back, continue to the downside. So the internal price move will be what? Bearish. You can have this as the bearish move. Now price can actually give us a bullish scenario where what? Price will break maybe above this candle wick, then come back to continue this way. So if you're actually taking this buy, you should be able to leave the market before this zone, because this can actually what? Cause a sell to the downside. So you actually need to understand that what? External structure controls their internal structure. So this is a range. From this high to this low is a range. And understanding that whatever happens within this point is what? Your internal structure. So don't be blindfolded when you have this type of range and you now see the internal price and you will now feel like, oh, Bitcoin is bullish. Yes, Bitcoin is bullish within the internal structure. But when Bitcoin becomes fully bullish is when we take out this high. Then you now have what? A change of character. Again, I don't know if this is copied, or we should look at another example before we fully what? Entertain question. Alright, so maybe I will get to look at something else, maybe on a different pair. On a different pair. Let's get a look at something on a different pair. Alright. So on this one, we are here on USD JPY. We are here on USD JPY. And on USD JPY, what can you see? We have this high. And this is what? Our break of structure. After having our break of structure, we have what? Another what? Break of structure at this point. And what? This is the last what? This is the last low. And what did you see? We had what? A change of character. We had a change of character at this point. We didn't look at the overall time frame, oh please. We are just using this for, if I'm actually marking my chart, this is how I mark my chart. You can go through my videos or you join me during my live section on Monday. You get to actually see how I get to mark my chart. I go to daily for us. Actually, this one is just for example. So at this point, you now have a change of character. After having this change of character, next thing you have here is what? Your break of structure. You have this break of structure. So after your break of structure, what do you want to see? We want to see price take out this low. So what did you see? Price took out what? This low. After price took out this low, we have what? This point, which price gave us relative equal lows. So whatever we have above this point, this was what? A sweep. So you see, at this point, this was not a change of character. What we had here was not a change of character. Okay, for Paul, there is no time frame that is the best. Time frame varies based on each trader. So you can decide to do the analysis on the 1 hour and decide to go down to 5 minutes, 15 minutes to actually take your trade. So a lot of persons also take their trade on the 4 hours. Me personally, I stick to 1 hour and 15 minutes. So whatever time frame you want to use, you should be able to actually have laid down principles what you want to see to actually take those trades. So you can actually do your analysis based on different time frame. I can decide to do my analysis on this 1 hour, then I go to 15 minutes to look out for more clear trades. So the time frame depends on you. So from your back testing is what will actually Your back testing will actually determine what will be your best time frame for you. So back to what I was explaining. At this point, you can see we have this candle wick. You see, we have this wick above this point. Now, having this wick, this was not where you had your change of character. Where you had your change of character was what? At this point. Look at this point here. This was where we had a change of character. Because this was just what transfer of highs to this point. So this was where we had a change of character. So immediately you have this change of character. You should already be knowing that what market is turning bullish. And what did you see? After that change of character, I think this was like Sunday or over the weekend, and market opened with this gap. And you can see market has been buying to the upside. Buying, giving us what? More break of structure. More what? Break of structure to the upside. So now, how do you get to identify the reversal we now have on this particular pair? You look at this point. This is the last low we had. Look at this low. And what? Where is the high? You have this high. So market breaking below this point gives you what? A change of character. So for now, you now have a change of character. We want to see price pull back to this point. Then what? We will now continue what? This sell. The sell to the downside. So this is what we want to see. For price to actually validate that we are what? We are bearish. We want to see price pull to this zone. Then what? Price will continue all the way to the downside. So we use change of character to identify reversal. We use break of structure to identify what? Trend continuation. Trend continuation. That's what we use break of structure for. Then change of character, we use it for what? Trend reversal or end of a trend. I don't know if that is actually copied. So I believe at the end of today's class, we all here will be able to actually what? Understand what we mean by break of structure and what? Change of character. So I'll end it here and let's entertain question on this topic. So if you have any question, you can drop your question in the comment section and let's get to answer them all together. Let's get to answer them together. So yes, copied. Yeah, so now it's time for question before we call it a wrap for tonight. So if you have your question, let me know. And if you actually understood the break of structure, change of character, and how to mark them properly, let me also know in the comment section. Let me get your feedback. I'm waiting for your feedback. Excel said copied. So what about the rest? Did you actually understand it or not? Let me know. Quite understood. Okay, don't worry. Maybe when we get to actually what, break of structure without actually adding your other blocks and other things, Excel, without adding other things, it looks a little bit what confusing, but all of this process is actually to walk you through to the main process. So we have to take it bit by bit. I do tell people I can actually teach trading just within a day if the person I'm teaching is actually smart and the person can actually assimilate so fast. So this is just like a bit by bit process so that when the next topic comes up, we'll be able to actually understand. I think the next topic on my module is order block. Order block. It should be order block or liquidity. I will check my Microsoft to actually know. I think that should be order block or liquidity. That should be the next topic we should be looking at for by Wednesday. So by the time we apply order block to this, it will make more sense. And when we now add liquidity and fair value gap, you will not get to actually get a clear picture. So only 3 persons said copied and understood. So what about the rest persons? It was confusing a little bit, but I understand it perfectly now. Yeah, if maybe you don't understand, just go through this lesson again. And I think assignments should be coming up for this weekend. I'll be dropping the question. If you like, do it. If you like, don't do it. I'm not carrying after anybody, and I'm not forcing anyone to actually do the assignment. But you being sincere to yourself, get to answer those questions I'm going to drop there. That will also help to evaluate yourself, and you will know if you have questions or you have things to actually improve on. Don't shy away from it. If maybe the questions are being dropped and you don't understand, or you did something and you sent to my DM and I'm like, this is wrong, I will correct you. I don't expect you to all get it right. So if you do it and there is a mistake, I'm going to tell you where the mistake is or the mistakes you've made, and we'll correct it together. So please do well to answer those questions. If it involves chat, please do well to mark your chat and do send to the appropriate place that will be tagged for you to send those questions to, your answers to, with your chat. It's very, very important, because this will actually help to evaluate you and to evaluate the whole process we are undergoing, to actually know that what we are actually building people, and these people are actually what learning, and they are learning properly, and they're actually understanding, because one thing is to learn, and another thing is what to understand. I don't want anyone to be done with this class and you go mark what you don't understand as your chat. So that's why I actually I'll be dropping those questions, or maybe one or two assignment. Just try to mark what you know. And based on that feedback I will get is what I'll actually use to assess if we should do a revision classes every Saturday or on Sunday, or I will just do a video and drop concerning all of the chats that was sent to me, then attend to them properly, and you get to learn. Because what I'm actually trying to build is what a community of people that can teach themselves, gets to learn and unlearn, and we get to grow together. That's just the aim of this community. So please try and be serious and try to be what involved in whatever we are doing. Active participation matters a lot. So please, if you've not subscribed to the channel, do wait to hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to turn on the post notification. A lot of persons actually turned on the post notification, but what when we go live, I don't even need to be sharing the link. If I've already said, okay, we are going live on YouTube today, you should get a notification. But I feel why most persons are not getting those notifications, just like some persons are telling me when we are live, you are not seeing notification. When you turn on your post notification, click for all. Change it to for all. When you change your post notification for all, once you are live, you will get the notification immediately. You will see, provided your data is on, you will see it. It will come up immediately, like it will pop up on your phone immediately. So you just click. You don't need to come to the link to click. So that's it. So we'll be calling it what? A night here today. So before you leave, do well to what? Leave a big thumbs up for tonight's class if you actually what got value, if you actually what learned something tonight, if you're actually getting value from the smart candles. Do well to leave a like button for me. Thank you. So the assignment will be dropping. I will drop the question this night or tomorrow morning, and I want us to submit everything at least latest by Monday. Then I will go through it and I will give feedbacks on the group. I will drop them with the answers. For those that guess to get them wrong, right or wrong, I will still indicate all of those things. This whole process is just to build and get to mold us towards profitability, towards actually understanding this skill. It's not complicated the way you see it. It's not something hard. It's something you can do. It's something I can do. But all it takes is what? Dedication. So let's call it a night. Good night, everyone. Enjoy your weekend. See you next week. Bye.